So we've talked about the basics of bill of material and what it is and how assemblies work. Now let's talk about some of the unique functions that may be present or not be present in some inventory apps, or may mean that we need to go to an ERP app or an ERP system. So these are important to look at the specific inventory app that you're looking at to make sure it's going to work for that scenario if you need one of these features that I'm going to talk about now. So one will be multi-level bill of material or hierarchical bill of material and how it works. So we said that the bill of material is the recipe. It's the list of all the components, raw material that I need to put into to assemble to get my finished goods. But what if some of those are also assembled products on their own? So I need to be able, so first requirement for some businesses is I need to be able to include assembled products inside other assembled products that I make. But then the interesting bit is, how is that handled in the assembly process? Will the system assume that I've got the assembled components ready, or will it guide me through preparing them first before I can prepare the other one, the higher level assembled product? So it's important to see how that works and does it suit the scenario you need or how you work. Another important differentiator is being able to change components on the fly. So in a simple scenario, I've created my bills of materials, my recipes, and now I run assemblies and I pick and I pick materials based on what's in the recipe, and that's pretty much it. But in a more advanced scenario, I'm doing that, but sometimes I want to change components in the assembly run itself. I don't want to go back to the recipe and change it. In the assembly run, this particular production run, I want to change some components. Maybe this time I want to use the red cap and not the blue cap. Maybe this time I'm out of some product and I'm going to put another one instead. So can I change the components in the production run without going back to the bill of material? Check the particular system you're looking at. Another point is wastage and breakage. So when I produce stuff, I can lose some on the way. Some systems allow me to just give an estimate, so 5%. And whenever I run a production, it will take off my stock all the components I've used. So if I said that to make this pen, I need this bit of plastic and that bit and that bit. If I made 100 of them, it will take 100 of those components off stock, but it will take another 5% to account for wastage and breakage. Some systems let me enter the actual wastage and breakage for this particular production run. So I made 100, I broke 3 of those, 1 of these, and I lost a couple of these. So you can account for the actual number. It's not better or worse, it's just right for different scenarios. Another important point is yield. So sometimes it's as simple as this. I need 1 of these, 1 of these, and 1 of these. But when I make something like cheese, for example, that I make out of milk, or when I make beer, you can't give an accurate recipe, because sometimes out of 100 liters of milk, I'll get that much cheese, and sometimes I'll get a different quantity of cheese. It depends on the temperature and the quantity, or the how much fat is in that milk. It depends on so many parameters. So some systems allow me to enter the yield at the end of the particular production run and say, this time I got 57 kilograms of cheese out of my milk. What the system will do, it will take the cost of all the components that I took, 100 liters of milk and whatever other things that I've put in, will take all of those costs and split them across 57 finished goods. Some systems don't let me do yield, and they're not right for certain industries. Another point is including third parties in the assembly process. So sometimes I need to take some components, put them together, and then I need to give it to another supplier who maybe paints them or cuts them and then brings them back to me. Some systems will be able to account for that purchase order from the supplier and also tell me that the order is now waiting with the supplier and then get it back. Some don't. And another important point will be steps in the production, which is already touching a bit of more advanced manufacturing. So sometimes I can just put a few components together and my finished good is ready. But sometimes I need to put them together and maybe put them in the cooling room for a day, or then maybe paint them and put them in the drying place for a few hours. This is already a bit more advanced manufacturing. Some inventory apps will have the functionality to to go through that workflow, and some won't. So it's very important to understand the functions that are required in our production process in order to see if that particular system does it and how.